Hello history fans and welcome to the Helpful History Halloween week, or Halloweek. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I remember back in the day watching the makeup YouTubers did Halloweek, so I'm doing that, but for history. I feel a bit like Mrs. Lovett today, but I think that's fitting because I think she would get on with who we're going to talk about today. So, we're going to talk about the Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory. I hope you enjoy. Elizabeth Bathory is a Hungarian countess who tortured and killed hundreds of young women in the 16th and 17th century. She was born on the 7th of August 1560 into a prominent Protestant noble family who basically ran Transylvania. Her uncle Stephen was King of Poland and her nephew was Prince of Transylvania, so she grew up in the family's castle. In 1575 she married Count Nadasdy and they moved to another castle that was gifted to them as a wedding present by his family. Did I say Nadasdy? It's Nadasdy. Nadasdy. She was just 15 when they married and there were already rumours that she'd had an illegitimate child with another man. From 1585 to 95 she had 5 children, but 2 babies died, and 2 daughters and 1 son survived. They did spend most of their marriage apart because Nadasdy was a soldier, but apparently in the little time they shared together he did pass on some torture techniques. In 1604 Nadasdy died and the rumours of her cruelty started to surface. Convenient timing, don't you think? There were previous accounts of her murdering peasant girls, but they had been ignored, and attention was only paid to her stories when she began apparently murdering noblewomen in 1609. And it was at that point that her cousin, the Count Palatine, was ordered by the King of Hungary to investigate her situation. Female servants and minor noblewomen travelled to her castle for training and education, and these were the apparent victims, with most of the assaults happening after 1604, so the death of her husband. And the Count Palatine's investigations, with accounts of people who lived in the area, found that she tortured and killed 600 of these young women, which does give her the world record for the most prolific murderess. And on the 30th of September 1609, Bathory and her servants are arrested. After their trial in 1611, 3 of her servants are executed, but Bathory never stands trial. She was just confined to live in her castle until she died on the 21st of August 1614. It's said that when she was arrested, victims dying and dead were found in her home, but of course fact and fiction has become muddled because she's such this prolific part of spooky folklore now. Some victims were even covered with honey and left outside to be eaten by insects, and this and the next few tales of her victims I'm about to tell you all remind me of the recent, I think it was BBC did a Dracula series. It was 3 parts. It was really scary. I'm surprised I got through it. I wouldn't normally watch it. But yeah, I feel didn't he cover them in honey? I don't know. Can't remember. So apparently, as well as covering them in honey and just leaving them to die, in the colder months she forced them naked into ice baths. She also cut their noses and tongues. She put pins into their fingers, and what else did she do? She whipped them with stinging needles, and then more intimate forms of torture were she would bite their shoulders and their boobs and then burn their flesh, and even burn their lady parts. So some people have invented this sexual reason for torture as well. The Blood Countess name comes from people thinking she was a vampire and being the basis of Dracula. As a child she suffered from seizures, which we now think was epilepsy, and the treatment for her at the time was to rub the blood of a healthy person onto her lips, and that's clearly where this need for blood started. But the most outrageous and notorious reason we call her the Blood Countess is because apparently she would bathe in the blood of these young girls, or virgins, to help restore her youth and her lost childhood. But these bloodbaths aren't mentioned till 100 years after she died, so this is the most inventive part of her story, as opposed to all the really gruesome, depraved other torturing and killing things that do actually fit in with the contemporary tales and accusations of her. The documents of the trial in 1611 do support these accusations against her, not the Blood Countess bit, but all the other torturing things. But the scholars now debate the truthfulness of it all. Some say it's a complete myth and none of the accusations make sense. Some think there's just no evidence to support it, and she was actually set up by greedy, horrible family members who wanted her land, or people that owed her money. Because, of course, Bathory was a powerful woman who controlled Nadisti's money and wealth and land after he died. And Matthias, the king of Hungary, who sent her cousin to investigate her, owed her a lot of money. But this debt is conveniently cancelled by her family in exchange for their permission to just keep her in her castle, and then they take control of the lands. So it's just like slander, and a lot of it's made up by her family who just want her land. And they're possibly just completely false accusations that are politically motivated from her own family. How sad. But there we go, that is your shortest little telling of Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. Let me know if you think she was a vampire, if you think she did all the murders, if you think it was her family setting her up. Let me know in the comments. Have a little debate. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed or are going to enjoy Halloweek. I'm not sure which order I'm posting them in, but I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. And I'll see you soon. Bye.